Hello, we are officially into November, which means we are 1 month away from the beginning of my silly little writer's retreat. I am so excited to get started. First of all, shameless plug, if you're not already in the Discord and you want to be a part of the Discord, which is where most of the whole writer's retreat thing will be taking place, is at the top of the description. Go join. There's already such a cool community there. There's so many cool stories. Well, by the time you're seeing this, it's technically over, but the first week of November was Share Your Projects Week in the Discord, so people could sort of officially announce what they want to work on for the retreat, and everyone else gets to see what kind of genres everyone's working in, the sort of vibes of everyone's stories, like all that good stuff. And it's like super inspiring to see what everyone's working on. Everyone's stories are like so different, so diverse, and it's so cool to see what people can come up with. All that to say, I am here to officially announce what I will be working on. I have kind of dabbled in and out of what I want to do. As you will see in vlogs that will come out after this video, I was struggling majorly to try and figure out what I wanted to work on coming into the retreat, what I wanted to work on first before focusing on my retreat projects, but that will be in vlogs that come out after this video. They're taking a little bit longer to edit because they are vlogs, not chatty like this, but I think I finally figured out how I want to do the rest of this year and the retreat, since the retreat goes into January. So here it is. Here's the idea, here's the plan, here's the rundown, here's what we're doing. So officially, my goal for the retreat, the project I want to focus on, or the one that I have the most set goal on, is Project Moss. I am going to get back into the Project What universe. I am going to work on the second book in that trilogy, Project Moss, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I am so very excited to be back in that world. Like, Project What as a universe, as a project, has been constantly, pretty much constantly in my brain for the past 4-5 years, and this is the first time in ever first time ever that I haven't been thinking about it for like the past few months, and it's very weird. It's kind of weird. So I am stoked to get back into that world with those characters, and just that world is so fun. But the actual goal I have for the retreat for Project Moss is not to finish the book. I'm actually going to try to not fast draft this next draft of Project Moss. I really wanna put the good work, the good effort, like put my all into it. Really going for quality over quantity, I guess. Quality over speed. So my goal for the retreat isn't to finish the draft. I'll get into also why that's the case in a second, but my goal for the retreat is to have it at least ready to be drafted. So revise the zero draft, re-world build where I need to re-world build or restructure the characters or all that like background stuff, and then re-outline. So revise, rework, re-outline, and have it ready to be drafted. And then like the secondary goal on top of that is actually start drafting during the retreat. At least start writing if I have the time. The primary goal is finish the outline. Have the outline ready so that come February 1st, I can actually start drafting the book. But if I do finish the outline early, why not just start drafting then and there, you know? But I just want to finish the outline. That's the main goal. Now, let's backtrack a little bit, come back, and sort of discuss what I'm doing now. A lot of it is prep work to get up to working on Project Moss, I guess. Half of it's prep work. Let's say that. Half of it is prep work. The other half is just working on a completely different project. Don't hit me up. As you will see very soon in a writing vlog, I am working on Project Glass right now. I have just finished the revision of the first draft, which is the second draft that I've written, but I called the first draft the zero draft. You know how it is. So I just finished rereading draft 1 a couple weeks ago, maybe 3. not sure. But I finished the reread, bawled my eyes out, whoops. And I have also since finished the re-outline. So that's 2 vlogs that will be out soon, hopefully, maybe. So look out for those. But I just had such an urge to work on Project Glass. Maybe because it's like fall, spooky season, like we're coming in on winter, and Project Glass is a very gloomy, wintry story. I feel like it just fits the vibes. And I don't know, I just felt the need to work on these 2 sisters. The 2 main characters. They're sisters. I felt so pulled to them a month ago, and I was like, no, I think I need to work on Project Glass. And so far, it's been going great. I haven't started actually drafting the second draft yet, but it is set up to be drafted. The outline is completely done, and I need to commit words to page. That's really what needs to happen. So that is happening. That is the completely separate project I'm working on, simply because I want to, okay? So that is what's happening right now. And my plan for Project Glass is to fast draft. I actually want to fast draft this book, or, you know, like draft it somewhat quickly. I don't know if fast draft is the correct word, because the plot structure I have is pretty much what happened in draft 1. I've just added a few more things. I've shuffled like maybe 4 scenes around in the entire book. Everything else, plot point by plot point, is pretty much staying the same, minus the other stuff I've squeezed in between. So I'm basically just rewriting the draft I already had, in a sense, which, unlike Project What or Project Star, which were like complete reworks, like this is much simpler. So my goal for Project Glass is to have the draft 2, draft 3, kind of technically, but draft 2 done by the end of November, so then I can go into the retreat completely focused on the Project What universe. I did say the Project What universe because we will also be working on book 1. As I've learned in writing Project Star, which you can see here, I've learned that going directly from the previous book to the next book, one right after the other, no split in between, is the best way for me to work on series. That's probably not a uncommon phenomena, but I've found that I get a much better product if I go straight from book 1 into book 2, or book 2 into book 3. And I've also been meaning to work on Project What in the first place anyways. It just needs some minor tweaking. Obviously it needs to be like line edited, and like the prose needs to come up a little bit more. But Project What is at a point where complete rewrites are not really in the picture anymore. It's really just making sure the story is solid, making sure I set up the trilogy well, making sure I set up the characters well. Like that's really what we need to do here, is just work on the finer things. And I'm hoping that ends up going relatively quickly. And I also need to work on Project What before I work on Project Moss, since that's the first book and Project Moss is the second book. So going straight from reworking Project What into draft 4, terrifying. But going from working on draft 4, having that complete, to jumping straight into working on Project Moss will make Project Moss a lot better, frankly. Especially because I have not touched Project What in months, maybe even a year. I don't want to go that far as to say a year, but maybe a year. So I really just need to refresh my own memory on the book, really understand all the nuance, all the little details and stuff that are in book 1 that I can use in book 2, really just refamiliarize myself with the project as a whole. So goals for Project What. Obviously the end goal is draft 4, which is just slight tweaks to draft 3. I might try and go through and line edit. I'm not sure if a scene's really lacking, I'll do a line edit, but I'm not very far in the actual progress of Project What right now, so that can definitely change. But yeah, end goal, draft 4. Terrifying. I don't really have a set date. I want that by maybe New Year's, so I have all of January to work on Project Moss, but I don't really have a set date on when I want draft 4 to be done. And to get there, a few things need to happen. Not a crazy amount. Obviously I'm not redrafting, which is gonna be nice. which is gonna be nice. But I do need to go through beta feedback. So I need to go through what they have said and apply that while I'm revising the book, and really just open the critical eye. Open the critical eye and try and see as many problems as possible. That sounds really harsh. That sounds kind of mean, but it also needs to happen in order for the book to get to somewhere that I can really say is like, oh yeah, this is a good book. Like, I wouldn't be upset with this being published. Obviously, by the end of draft 4, it will not be at the publishing stage, but I would like it to be at a point where I'm like, if I had to publish draft 4, I could. That's the hope, that's the idea. So the big thing for Project What is the revision. I'm trying to find everything I can, even like typos and stuff. I'm trying to find those where I can and just nitpicking it like crazy. And I've already started this. I'm maybe 5 chapters in, possibly, maybe. And it is a 40 chapter book, so it's a big boy. It is a big boy, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it in the end. And then once the revision is done, we make the plan of what needs to actually change, what I need to actually rewrite, what I need to rearrange, like what needs to happen to make the book better. I'm hoping once I get into like Act 2, Act 3, not a lot of stuff will have to change because I already put a lot of work into Act 2 and Act 3 of draft 3. So I'm hoping a lot of that effort was not a waste. But like I said, I'm only 5 chapters in, so I'm still very much in Act 1. But that is, we'll just see once the revision keeps going. Once I'm done with the revision, see what needs to change, see what needs to be deleted, what needs to be added, what needs to be moved, and implement that. And implement it. After that, we'll have draft 4. I'll probably reprint it because I have a version of every draft of Project What. I would hate to break that chain, and maybe, just maybe, get a new line of beta readers. For draft 3, all the beta readers were people who had read draft 2 as well. So I think for draft 4, I want to get new eyes. I do need to finish draft 4 first before I can even think about that, but that's the idea. Big focus on revision, figuring out what all needs to change, putting those changes in draft 4. And then, like, my most vague, basic goal for that is to have it done by December 31st. Obviously, hoping for sooner, hoping for way sooner. That's like the most lenient goal I have. And hopefully to achieve that during November. Right now, I want to start revising again in full force while I am drafting Project Glass. It's been a long time since I've worked on 2 projects at once, so we'll see how it goes, especially with school and everything, just to get the ball rolling for Project What once I am done with Project Glass. That, like, I'm already working on it, so once Project Glass is over, I can really pick up the speed for Project What, because I need to completely dedicate my time to Project What before I can move on to Project Moss. That's just another series thing. I can't overlap. I can't overlap like book 1 and book 2. It has to be book 1, we're done with book 1, book 2. So like I can work on Project Glass and Project What at the same time. That hopefully won't be a problem. But Project What and Project Moss will have to be separate. So whenever I do end up finishing draft 4 of Project What is when I can actually start working on Project Moss, which is, like I said, the main goal of the retreat. So technically I have like 3 or 2.5 goals for the retreat. I say 2.5 because Project Glass is supposed to be done by the end of November, and the retreat is December and January, so doesn't really count, but I also need it to be done so I can start working on the stuff I want to work on for the retreat. So that is what I'm doing. So that's the idea right there. Project Glass first, try and draft that pretty quickly. We'll see how it goes. Reworking Project What, getting it ready for draft 4, hopefully getting it to a good place. And then Project Moss, revising, reworking, re-outlining. Maybe start drafting. Maybe. But that's kind of a lot. Kind of a lot that's happening. Before the end of the year, that is hopefully 2 new drafts complete, which is kind of insane. A little bit. But I am really going to push myself to try and actually do it. I feel like I'm capable of both of those goals before the end of the year if I really stick to it. But that's the hardest part, is sticking to it, pushing through, and like actually dedicating your time to it. But I think we can do it. I think we can do it. If we work hard enough, we can do it. But yeah, those are my official goals for the writing retreat. Again, if you want to join the Discord, down below, if you want more information about the writing retreat, I will link that video at the end of this one so you can get more information about that. There will also be live streams here every weekend, every other weekend or so, where we'll be discussing all things retreat. And yeah, I am just very excited. I am so excited to be back in like that writing grind. But we do still have 3 weeks to go before the retreat starts. So I will say thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Please let me know what you guys want to work on for this retreat if you're joining. Otherwise, let me know what you're working on right now. Anything, everything. And I hope to see you in the Discord and in the next one. Peace.